Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 539. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is build your database, build your income. The secret to scaling your business. Build your database, build your income. The secret to scaling your business. Now, what if the key to a multi-million-dollar business, guys, was right in front of you, but you didn't even know it? And I'm going to tell you, as a serial entrepreneur and business coach for over 25 plus years, one of the biggest things that I find that most entrepreneurs don't have is a database. And we're going to talk about why a database is important and how to build your database. And I'm going to give you 4 steps to do so. And this is really the key, guys, to scaling your business. So build your database, build your income. Now, before we get to today's show content, I just want to share a few things with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links, such as the link to the new revised website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. Guys, make sure you take advantage of the website. We have all types of free resources for entrepreneurs to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. So when you go to the website, just click on the Learn tab. There's a drop down, and you'll have all types of subject matter that you can get free content on. Scaling your business, marketing, e-commerce, strategy, mindset. We also have content on side hustles. So make sure you go to the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, and get your free entrepreneur resources. Also, don't forget, guys, if you're listening to this or watching this and you're unable to take down notes, make sure you go to the website, and the show notes for each episode are on the site. On our homepage, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, the last 3 podcast episodes are on the top fold. You can just click them, and the show notes are inside each episode number. If it's an episode that's further back, just go ahead and scroll on down, and you'll be able to get the show notes. A lot of great content in the show notes. And the last piece of information for the BEB family is, if you are a first-time listener, wherever you are watching this or listening to this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We drop a new episode every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on all your major podcast platforms and YouTube. So hit that subscribe button so you'll be alerted when the next episode drops. Now, let's get ready for today's show content. So today we're going to dive into building your database, building your income, the secrets to scaling your business. Now, I mentioned at the top of the show, guys, I've been a serial entrepreneur for 25 plus years, and I've been a business coach for over 20 years. And the first thing that I ask prospective coaching students is, do you have a database? Not just a regular database, a living, breathing database of prospects and customers. And if they tell me no, I know we've got a lot of work to do. And I know right offhand that this business is not going to scale until they learn how to build a database. All right. So in addition to that, I'm going to talk about why you want to build a database. And I'm going to give you 4 steps on how to build your database. And guys, I'm trying to tell you right now, this should be your number one focus in business, building your database. Now, I use this example all the time, but it's so clear to me, and it should be clear to you. When Borders bookstores went out of business, Barnes & Noble's, their number one competitor, they didn't buy the books, they didn't buy the buildings. The thing that they bought was they bought their database out of bankruptcy. So now Barnes & Noble's has what? A database of customers that likes to buy books. That's their target market. So why go and buy all of these other assets that they don't need when the biggest asset was the actual database? So that should be your number one focus when you build your business, guys, is building your database. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is a database? But I'm talking about a living and breathing database versus a regular database. And here's the characteristics of a living/breathing database. Number one, it's a database of prospects and customers that is purged periodically. So that's a key. You have to purge your database periodically. People that don't respond or answer emails for a certain period of time, for me, it's usually 3 to 6 months. If somebody doesn't respond in 3 to 6 months, guess what? They're on the database, but they're not really a prospect. So I purge them. Every 3 to 6 months, I purge my database. Okay? So these are the characteristics of a living, breathing database. The contacts in your database are tagged into specific groups. So not just having a list of people, but you want to tag them in specific groups, like a prospect group, customers, people that have purchased product A, people that responded to this particular ad. You want to tag them, and there's software that we're going to talk about later on that can help you do that. So segmented and separated to give you a better understanding of who they are and what they want. So if you just had one big email database and you didn't have any basic or different information except name, address, and email, you're not able to contact or connect with them in a way that's going to help conversions for you because you don't have this information. So for example, if somebody came in your database from one of your lead magnets that was a case study on how CPAs can make more money per client, then you know that this CPA is interested in making more money. Now, if somebody came in on a lead magnet and it was a CPA and it said how to build your CPA staff, you know that they're interested in building a staff. So this is why you need to have a living, breathing database that is segmented and tagged. So when somebody comes into one of your lead funnels, you need to be able to not just grab their information, but tag them. What ad did they come in on? How did they get to your funnel? What are some of their interests based on what the lead magnet is? And so I'm not going to get too heavy into that, but that's something that you need. And we're talking right now is what is a living, breathing database and some of the characteristics. Also, a characteristic of a living, breathing database is that it always expands and adds new contacts. Your database, guys, always needs to expand. There's going to be natural attrition in your database. When you purge your database, you're going to lose people. So you always want to build your database. So that's what a living, breathing database is. It's not just a list of people that you accumulate and don't do anything with. You have to be interactive with the database. So you need to send out not just sales emails, but send out quality content that your audience is going to appreciate. Okay. So that's what a living, breathing database is. Now, why should you build a database? I just mentioned to you guys, your database is the most valuable asset that your business has. Recognize and understand, guys, it is the most valuable asset your business has. So just think about it. If you have the contact information for people that have an interest in your product or service, how much easier is it to sell to them? Huh? It just makes sense, right? Oh, these people have raised their hand. They have an interest in your product or service. And now all you have to do is go and fulfill that interest. Give them the products or services that they want and need. So this is one of my biggest peeves when I talk to my coaching students and just people in general. A lot of times when you start a business, all you're focused on is your product or service. So you're busting your hump, putting all your resources into a product and or a service that people may not want. And then you get finished with that. And then you turn around and scratch your head and say, okay, now who am I going to sell it to? When in reality, you need to build your database before or while you're building your product or service. So once you get that database built and now your product or service is ready, guess what? You have people to send the information to sell your product or service. So it's just like a pre-launch. When somebody is writing a book and they give you a discount for a pre-launch, or somebody puts you on a waiting list for a product that's about to drop. So they're building their database so when they're ready to drop the product or service, there's somebody there that wants it. Somebody has raised their hand, they've given you their contact information, and they have an interest in your product or service. That's one reason why you should build your database. Another reason why you should build your database is that your database controls your income. It's just like the title of today's show. Build your database, build your income. Your database controls your income. The bigger your database, the more money you can make, guys. It's actually just a function of the numbers. You don't have to be any better. But if you have a bigger database, then you're going to make more money. And I'll give you an example. Now, in scenario A, you've been listening to Jay Jones and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and you've built up a database of 10,000 people. Now, you put out an offer and you get a 5% conversion rate on a $100 product. So that means, guys, if you get a 5% conversion rate on 10,000 people, that means that you sold 500 people a $100 product and you've just made $50,000. Now, that's scenario A. Scenario B, somebody who wasn't listening and didn't build a database, they have a database of 100 people, right? Now you have that same offer you put out. You have the same 5% conversion. So that means 5 people out of 100 buy your $100 product. And guess what? You've made $500. Okay, not bad, but you could make $50,000 versus $500, and it's the same amount of work. Understand what I'm telling you guys. Your database controls your income. You don't have to be a super or better salesperson. Whatever your conversion rate is, guess what? It's going to hold true as long as your database and the people that you're attracting to your database are people that want your products or services. They're in your target market. So why wouldn't you have a 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 person database? Everything is a function of the numbers. So your database controls your income. So I always talk about these gurus say they got $1 million product launch. Yeah, the difference between $1 million product launch and a $100 product launch is the database. How many people are they getting in front of for that product launch? So if they've taken their time to slowly build up their database, and it doesn't take that long if you know what you're doing, then when they drop a product or service, guess what? It's going to sell. It's going to sell. And the conversion rate is the same. So it behooves you to have a higher or a larger database. Bear with me today, guys. My voice is going a little bit. I'm a little bit hoarse coming off of a cold. But it's all based on the numbers, guys. Your database controls your income. Bigger database, more money. All right, another reason why you should build your database allows you to find out what your customers want and need. So, once again, if you know what your customers want and need, guess what you can do? You can provide those products or services. You can solve those problems. So by having access to your audience, you're able to connect with them via polls. You can do quizzes or other ways to find out what they want and need. And once you know that, you can provide those products or services. You can also test new products or services based on feedback. So say you're thinking about coming out with a new product or a new version of a product. If you have a database, you can actually market directly to your database without going out spending money running Facebook ads, Instagram ads, native advertising, or whatever. You have a captive audience that you can actually test out new products or services before you go out in the open market and start spending money on advertising. And these are some of the reasons on why you should build your database, guys. It's just simple common sense. But the problem is many of us don't understand or realize how important it is or vital it is to build and scale your business without having that database. A lot of times we're so happy in just making a sale. Woo, we got a sale. Yeah, now you have a list of your customers. Guess what? But do you have a product or service that has repurchase opportunities? Some products or services, like me, for example, I have a mortgage business. Now I get repeat customers, but they usually don't repeat for years, down the line, unless interest rates change or somebody's looking to purchase a new property or refi and cash out. So once again, do you have the type of product or service that people are going to continue to buy, something that they're going to use up, be it soaps, lotions, stuff like that you have to continue to buy, or do you have a one-off? So if you're a CPA, now you're probably going to have customers that come back once a year. But once again, guys, it just makes sense to have that database. Another thing that you can do with your database, guys, is you can solicit referrals. So if you have a customer or an avatar that you have in your database, they may know somebody that's similar to them. So if you're a CPA and you work with entrepreneurs, then if you send out to your database of entrepreneurs, hey, I'm doing a promotion for, new clients, blah, blah, blah. If you know any entrepreneurs that need assistance with their taxes or their finances, let me know, blah, 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 blah. And once again, that database of like-minded people, of an avatar of your customer base is there, and you can utilize that to generate more business. So it's a no-brainer, guys. If you want to grow and stay in business and scale your business, you have to build a database. Now, if you're listening to this and you don't have a database, it's all right. Now, you're behind the 8 ball. I'm not going to lie to you, because you should have started this before you started your business, or at least exactly when you started your business. But you may not have understood or known that this is something that you need to do. Even if you've been in business a while, guys, you can still build your database. And based on what you're selling and how you market to get people onto that database, and we'll talk about that in a minute, you can build a database quickly, okay? Now, before we get to the last segment where I'm going to give you 4 steps to build your database, let me just share my social media contact information and resource links real quick. Everything I'm about to tell you is on the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. So I mentioned at the top of the show, guys, get your free resources on the website. Go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, hit the Learn tab, and we have all types of content that you can consume and help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ for free. All right, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. If you're lazy, go to BEBconnect.com and it'll take you right there. Now, if you want to connect with me, guys, anything long, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, JAYJONES@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, Twitter, JJones001, JAYJONES001. Instagram, I have 2 IG accounts. The first one is JJones for real, JAYJONES, 4, REAL. The second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, LinkedIn, connect with me there, guys. Just go to LinkedIn, type in J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and YouTube. Make sure you guys go to YouTube, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and hit that subscribe button. We have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. So those are all my contact vehicles, guys. So connect with me. Any questions or whatever, comments, please feel free to reach out to me, DM me, whatever, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Now, let's get back to the last segment of the show. We're talking about build your database, build your income, the secret to scaling your business. And now we're going to talk about how to build your database. We talked about what a living, breathing database was, why you should build your database, and now I'm going to give you 4 steps to build your database. Step number 1, guys, is you need to find an email marketing software platform to build your database. Find an email marketing software platform to build your database. So in order to build the database, guys, you have to have a software platform which enables you to email your database and create email campaigns with the ability to tag your contacts based on their actions. Now, the actions that people take allows you to better target them with specific messaging. So if you're a CPA who works with entrepreneurs who have tax problems, then you want to tag that contact as somebody that responded to that specific ad. It's an entrepreneur that has tax problems. Now that you know that, you're better able to speak to them in a way that will convert them from a prospect to a client. Okay? So some of the platforms, guys, that you can use are ConvertKit, Aweber, MailChimp, and there's a whole bunch of them out there. I personally use ConvertKit. I think it's very native to use. It's not super hard. And to me, I think it's one of the most robust of the platforms out there that you can use. But you can use whatever you want. So we're talking right now about how to build your database. Step number 1, find an email marketing software platform to build your database. Step number 2, you want to create a lead magnet. Now, I kind of mentioned lead magnets a minute ago, but a lead magnet is a piece of content that makes your audience raise their hand. Okay, so a lead magnet has to be something that your audience wants. It could be a piece of content such as a PDF checklist. It could be, hey, to watch this video, leave your name and email address. It could be a case study or whatever, but it needs to be content that is enticing to your audience. Okay. So in the example I just gave you with the CPA that works with entrepreneurs who have tax problems, one lead magnet could be a case study on how companies with tax problems solve them. And of course, the case study would show what that CPA does to help solve a problem. So that is a lead magnet, okay? So lead magnets, guys, can be things such as videos, a PDF checklist, tutorial, case study, or any quality content that appeals to your target audience. Okay, and the way you set up a lead magnet is with a landing page, which is just a one-page website, or it could be right on the front of your website. And all it is content that your audience would want to have and would think is valuable. And to get that content, you're going to have to put your name, email address, and possibly phone number, whatever you think is makes sense for your avatar. Okay. So that's step 2. Step 1, you got to find an email marketing software platform to build your database. Step 2, create your lead magnet. Step 3, continue to build your database daily. I know this sounds redundant, but I want you guys to understand the ramifications of this. So your database must continue to grow faster than you have attrition. So when you build the database, people are going to drop off. They're going to opt out, and then you're going to purge people who don't respond. So if you stop at a certain point in building your database and you don't continue to replenish that database, it's going to have attrition and you're going to be back down to square one again. Okay, so I say this a lot of times, guys, and I've said it in a couple of different shows. The number one metric you should look at each morning is not how much more money is in your bank account. It's how many new contacts have I put into my database. I'm going to repeat that. The number one metric you need to look at every morning is not how much new money or money you have in your bank account, is how many new contacts you put in your database. Your database is a function of your income. The bigger your database, the bigger your income. And when I say database, guys, you can have multiple databases. So you can have one big database where you tag or, segment the people. Like if you sell multiple products or services, you can have one big database, but you've tagged or segmented people that like this product or that product. Or you could have, if you have multiple products or multiple businesses, you need to have a database for each business at the minimum. Okay? You want to have a database, but that database needs to be tagged and segmented so you can even go down deeper to communicate with your audience directly based on what they want and need. Okay? So number 3, continue to build your database on a daily basis. Remember, your income is a function of how big your database is. I gave you the example of a $10,000 person database versus a 100-person database with a conversion rate of 5%, and you saw the difference in the numbers. So your income, guys, is a function of your database. Number 4, create a real lead generation system. Man, if I had a dollar for every entrepreneur I spoke to that does not have a real lead generation system, I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast right now because I'd be rich. Okay? I'm telling you. So understand this, guys. The number one system that you must create in your business is a lead generation system. Now, your database is a part of your lead generation system. Your database is great for getting and acquiring contacts, but your lead generation system is what nurtures those contacts. So, for example, if you use ConvertKit, you can create email campaigns based on emails that people open or actions that they take. So in addition to nurturing prospects into paying customers, a good lead generation system will sort and pre-frame them so they'll be more predisposed, guys, to purchase your products or services. And what do I mean by sort and pre-frame? So when you have a lead generation system, you can move them through the steps. And when I say pre-frame is putting them into the mindset of purchasing. So for example, I gave you guys the example of the CPA that works with entrepreneurs who have tax problems. Now let's talk about pre-framing. So now in your lead generation system, you've been emailing them after they signed up to get your free case study. Now, your objective is to get them to do a free consulting call with you. Now, through your email marketing database, which is part of your lead generation system, you're offering them different opportunities through your email. Now, one of the opportunities is for them to get on a free webinar. Now, this webinar's objective is to pre-frame your prospect and help them become a customer. So on the webinar, you're going to show them some of your case studies, some of the successes that you had, and also the process that you take when you bring on a new customer. So now you're pre-framing that prospect to help convert them to be a customer. You're telling them everything that you've done for everybody else, how you can help them, and you're showing them the steps and the process when you work with whatever that CPA's name is. So that is what we call pre-framing. We're setting it up where you're basically taking away the objectives. Now, the beauty of this with a webinar or any lead generation system is when people raise their hand, you're going to filter them out. Some people are going to be ready to go and work with you right away. Others may not. Others may say, you know what, get me off of this list. But that is the exact reason why you need a lead generation system. This system works 24/7, 365, weeding out and sorting out high quality prospects for versus, prospects that really aren't ready, willing, or able to purchase your product or service. Not that you want to throw them away. You want to continue to nurture them. But this is what a true lead generation system does. It nurtures people from prospect to conversion to customer. Okay. So those are the 4 steps, guys, in terms of how to build your database. Find an email marketing software platform to build your database. That's number 1. Number 2, create lead magnets. Number 3, continue to build your database daily because you need to replenish it at all times. And number 4, create a real lead generation system. So remember, if you need the show notes, guys, just go to the website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. The show notes are there for you if you're not able to write them down or jot down any notes. But I'm telling you guys right now, your database is a function of your income. If you look at your business right now, you're not making money, I can pretty much guarantee you don't have a solid database. I'm not talking about people that signed up for something 7 years ago and you never emailed them. You could have 20,000 of those people on there, but they're not engaged. You want to have an engaged, and that's why I say a living, breathing database of engaged people in your audience that want or need something that you provide, that you have the solution to whatever their problem is, be it a CPA, be it a mortgage company, be it whatever you sell. Okay, that is how you build and scale your business, guys, with a database. And I'm telling you, it's not sexy, but it is a foundational piece for all multi-million-dollar businesses. Look at all of the emails you get from the companies that you not work with, but the companies that you use. So I use Harry's razor blades, right? I get emails from Harry's all the time with promotions or whatever. So good companies that know how to grow and scale utilize and understand the power of their database to be able to continue to grow and scale and not fall off the cliff. Okay. So build your database, build your income, the secret to scaling your business. Y'all better understand how important that is. So if you don't have a database, that's your number 1 function or objective right now, to build it. If you do have one, continue to build it and make sure that you have a living, breathing database where you continue to bring people on daily and you also purge, and you're going to have attrition. Okay. Remember, guys, your database is a function of your income. Now, I say this each and every week, guys, because it's true. We get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the blog, the ecosystem, the website. Make sure you go to the website and get your resources because it's about elevating your entrepreneur IQ. Now, remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.